Welcome back to the Newscast. I'm Jared Wiker.
And I'm Rachel Pellegrino. WCTV's Lachlan Loudon talked to Eddie Powers, the director of this year's fall play, to find out what's happening with the performing arts. Here's the story.
If we can do something along those lines that still has some sense of theater about it, then we are happy to do so.
The Waynesburg University players are still set to perform a fall play this semester. However, it will be done a bit differently than past years. The players will be performing a series of stories by Edgar Allan Poe as stage adaptations, while following and adhering to the proper guidelines.
The other challenge has been on just the way we communicate, and I believe everybody on campus is feeling that way, since we are having to wear masks. This muffles a voice. This cuts down on facial expression. This changes character and actor communication.
As of now, the players are able to perform socially distant in the Goodwin Performing Arts Center. Earlier in the rehearsal process, however, they had to get things started online.
So the online rehearsals have worked okay with one-on-one direction, working with actors, just talking about their character, talking about the line interpretation.
The current plan is for the play to be live streamed and to take place on
November 4th through the 7th at 7:30 p.m. November 4th through 7th. So we are basically 1 month away right now.
Yeah.
We will live stream the production.
Mm-hmm.
And so we will be sending out publicity about telling people, whether they're on campus or even off campus, how they can make a reservation to get the live stream.
From WCTV, I'm Lachlan Loudon.
Waynesburg's Fine Arts Department recently received 2 3D printers. Both printers will be made available to students to use throughout the semester. WCTV's Madison Strunk has more on the story.
The Fine Arts Department recently acquired 2 3D printers and started a new class for students to learn how to use them.
I had been looking at finding ways to make artwork that we could do on the computer and then somehow generate it three-dimensionally. So for the past 2 years, I've been experimenting with the 3D printer, starting first with finding things online and then printing them out, and then making my own designs and printing them out.
Heisey and art students are hoping that this helps broaden their skills to be able to make prototypes in their future careers.
The idea of 3D printing is so great because you have an idea, you make it on the computer, you quickly manufacture it, and then you find out, okay, this isn't working. So you can go back to the computer, redo your model, your idea, and then print it again until you have a working prototype.
I think it'll be really helpful, especially with the entrepreneurship, to be able to say, hey, look, here's my design, and you don't just show them on a computer. You can hand it to them. They can look at it from all angles. It's just something that's really good to show off your ideas for anything, when especially asking for money for a project, to show them something they can touch and hold.
For Channel 14, I'm Madison Strunk.
Waynesburg's SAB had everything a student was looking for on a Saturday morning: free coffee and fun with friends. WCTV's Tim Durkin attended SAB's Biscuit Brew on Saturday and has more on the story.
On Saturday, October 3rd, the Student Activities Board held its first Biscuit Brew of the year. It was located in the Beehive, and students were able to paint a variety of bisques while drinking coffee.
So today we are hosting our first Biscuit Brew of the semester. This is an event we like to do about once a month. However, this is the first time since we're starting to reintroduce new events that we've been able to have it this year. We're having it on a Saturday to provide some programming to anybody who might live far away or is just staying on campus for the weekend. We've had a pretty good turnout. Lots of Starbucks coffee provided and cute little fall pumpkin and Halloween bisques.
This is what students said about the event.
Honestly, it's just a really nice way to end the week, just relaxing and being able to just slow down and do something creative. My roommate and I love coming to these and just, breathing and talking and laughing and stuff. And it's just a really great time and just, a nice way to take a break.
Once all the painting is done, gloss is applied to make the bisque complete. Many students display theirs in their dorm. Tim Durkin, Channel 14 News.
Greene County residents gathered at Brady's Roadhouse for a cornhole tournament Saturday afternoon. Residents tried their best to get the bags on the board, but there could only be one winner. WCTV's Rachel Pellegrino has more on the story.
Sunday Fun Day.
This Sunday afternoon, it's all about who's got the best shot, as Brady's Roadhouse hosts their first of many cornhole tournaments.
We just came up with this a couple weeks ago. It just we had the cornhole boards out and everybody said, you guys should run a tournament, you have the space. So it kind of grew from, we were hoping we'd get 40 teams to I think we have like 58 teams today.
Taylor said part of the money collected from the event was split between first and second place, while the rest of the money was donated.
50% is going to be payout to the winner, then 25% to second place, and then 25% is going to go to the Warrior Trail Gobblers Jake's event, which is a children's turkey shoot event.
If the monetary prize didn't entice Greene County residents to participate in the event, the beer and food for sure did.
We like cornhole and drink a beer, good food, and hang out with our friends.
We come to support them and drink beer, have fun. We're all friends here.
This event is the first of many to come as Brady's Roadhouse gets back on its feet in the wake of the pandemic.
We're all in survival mode at this point. We're just trying to have our business survive. It's been great. The community has been great. They've really supported us, and we'll probably continue to have these because it's such a great turnout.
Rachel Pellegrino for WCTV News.
That's all we have for local and campus news. We'll have national news when we come back.
Organizers are reportedly taking extra safety measures for Wednesday night's vice presidential debate in Salt Lake City. According to a person familiar with the preparations, Vice President Mike Pence and Democratic VP nominee Senator Kamala Harris will be separated by plexiglass during the event. The debate is still on track for Wednesday night as Pence continues to test negative for COVID-19. But because of the coronavirus outbreak at the White House, Pence and Harris will be some 12 feet apart, which is more than originally planned. Some health experts still say Pence should not be going ahead with the debate at all if he has been in close contact with President Trump or anyone else who recently tested positive. Meanwhile, sources say the two remaining presidential debates are up in the air. A presidential commission member says one possibility includes holding virtual debates between Trump and Democratic nominee Joe Biden. His name was Kendrick Castillo. He was just 18 years old when he was shot and killed after someone pulled out a gun at his school. He died shielding his classmates. That was more than a year ago. Now, there's a giant 2-story mural to remember his life and honor the sacrifice he made. Jacqueline Quinn was there for the unveiling. All the other people depicted on the mural are also victims of violence. Another White House staffer has COVID-19. Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany tested positive Monday. In a tweet, McEnany says she will begin quarantining, but she currently doesn't have any symptoms. She is the 11th person close to President Trump to recently test positive for the virus.
Good morning, everyone.
McEnany held her last press briefing Thursday. 2 of McEnany's staff members also tested positive. Tropical storm Delta is headed toward the U.S. Gulf Coast. It's the 26th storm of the 2020 hurricane season. Monday, Delta was about 100 miles south of Jamaica, headed toward the Cayman Islands and Cuba. It's expected to reach hurricane status by Wednesday and hit the Gulf states later in the week. Texas, all the way toward the Florida Panhandle, could be impacted by the storm.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is tweaking its guidance about how coronavirus spreads. It reiterates that prolonged close contact is the worst culprit, especially if people aren't wearing masks and are closer than 6 feet apart. The change to the guidance involves whether the virus can linger in the air after an infected person leaves an area. The CDC says some reports indicate transmission like that can happen in enclosed, poorly ventilated spaces, but it's rare. The agency says activities that require heavy breathing, like exercising or singing, can increase the likelihood of this type of spread. President Trump left the hospital Monday evening. Those close to the president say he's demanding to be released as he recovers from COVID-19. Mary Maloney has more.
I learned a lot about COVID. I learned it by really going to school. This is the real school.
Though he may not entirely be out of the woods yet, the team and I agree that all our evaluations, and most importantly, his clinical status, support the president's safe return home.
He received dexamethasone, which is reserved only for people with severe COVID. So that alone raises concerns about his condition.
I'm actually disturbed and concerned about the fact that our baseline of infections is still stuck at around 40,000 per day. That's no place to be when you're trying to get your arms around an epidemic.
California State Fire Agency said blazes like these have burned well over 4 million acres so far this year. In an update Sunday, CAL FIRE says more than 16,000 firefighters are battling 23 major blazes plus smaller fires. They say at least 31 people are dead because of this year's wildfires, and about 100,000 have had to evacuate. More than 8,000 structures are in ashes, and California's wine country is decimated. The SCU and LNU Lightning Complex fires were some of the largest blazes in state history before firefighters contained them. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell wants to push back the chamber's floor activity for 2 weeks. The Senate Minority Leader wants him to meet one important condition first, however. Senator McConnell wants to hold off on chamber activities except work on the confirmation of Judge Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court. Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says if it's too dangerous for the Senate to meet, it's too dangerous for the Judiciary Committee to meet as well. Multiple senators have tested positive for COVID-19 in recent days, and McConnell wants to resume floor activity October 19th. That's it for national news. Now we have Caleb Yauger outside with a brief weather preview. Then we have Gwyn Napier with the latest in business and entertainment.
Knock it out. Shoot it.
I'm Gwyn Napier here with your business and entertainment update. More than 148 million American adults plan to take part in Halloween-related activities this year, according to an annual survey by the National Retail Federation. But with the ongoing pandemic, consumer spending is expected to be different this year. Mandy Gaither has more in today's Consumer Watch. The survey shows some are heeding the warnings about high-risk Halloween activities from the CDC. The number of plans including indoor parties, trick-or-treating, handing out candy, and going to haunted houses have dropped. Halloween is likely going to look different this year for kids all over the country. Lowe's home improvement stores want to make sure that doesn't mean it's canceled completely. That's why the warehouse stores are offering drive-through curbside trick-or-treating. It works like this. Families register in advance on lowes.com/DIY to reserve a spot. Then, on either October 22nd or 29th, they can drive up to the store for free candy and a small pumpkin. Costumes are encouraged but not required. That should sweeten the deal for your next home improvement project. News of President Donald Trump's preparing to leave Walter Reed Medical Center helped fuel gains on Wall Street Monday. Shortly after Trump tweeted he feels better than he did 20 years ago, stocks hit session highs. The Dow rose more in one day than it has since July, picking up more than 400 points. The Nasdaq Composite and S&P 500 both saw their best day in nearly a month. Markets have dipped somewhat Friday after Trump was admitted to the hospital with COVID-19. Here's a closer look at Monday's numbers. For the Dow, it was 28,148.64. It rose 465.83 points, which increased 1.68%. S&P 500 was 3,408.60. It rose 60.16 points, which was an increase of 180%. The Nasdaq was 11,332.49. It rose 257.47 points and was an increase of 2.32%. The latest adventure of 007 is looking at its 004th release date. David Daniel has that and more entertainment news in our Hollywood Minute.
History isn't kind to men who play God.
Why would I betray you?
We all have our secrets. We just didn't get to yours yet.
Three different women, three different generations. We're loud, we're proud. Let's go. Oh my gosh. We all know that you are fuerte.
Yes, I'm a tough woman, but I'm very vulnerable.
Like muchas Latinas. In order to move forward, you have to go to those places.
Grandma, Grandma,
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Offer me anything.
Chomp, 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 chomp.
Follow.
Dun, 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 dun.
This year's Creative Recreations will be shown November 30th at virtual cinemas and select theaters. That's all in business and entertainment. Next up, we will have Riley Holsinger on sports to give the latest in local high school football.
It's a Saturday night. You know what that means. Time to party. Sam is having a good time, watching sports, drinking beer, playing pong. Not a care in the world for Sam. Nobody at the party stopped Sam. They let him walk out the door with his keys, even though he was stumbling, having a hard time to stand up. What happened less than 10 minutes later would change Sam's life forever.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Riley Holsinger with your Channel 14 Sports Report. Last week, WCTV's high school game of the week was the Jefferson Morgan Rockets hosting the Bentworth Bearcats. I covered the game for Channel 14 Sports.
I'm back down here at John F. Wiley Stadium for the first time in almost a year, covering a team in the orange and black, but tonight, it wasn't the Waynesburg University Yellow Jackets, it was the Jefferson Morgan Rockets who took on the Bentworth Bearcats. Both teams headed into the game with their only win being against Monessen. Right off the bat, Bentworth and Jefferson Morgan came out swinging with 20 points each in the first half. Starting out the scoring for Bentworth, it was Owen Petrizik who scampered in from 6 yards out. Petrizik scored another rushing touchdown in the first half, but was primarily stuffed by the Jefferson Morgan defense in the second half. Jefferson Morgan answered right back on the next drive. Another Owen joined the score sheet. This time, it was the Rockets' Owen Madich who hauled in a 29-yard touchdown pass from quarterback Colt Fowler. The Rockets failed on the 2-point attempt. Madich hauled in a total of 3 touchdown catches on the night, one more in each half from 34 and 38 yards away. The Bearcats' Trent Kavanaugh ran it in from 10 yards away on the next drive to stay up by 8. Rockets quarterback Colt Fowler called his own number from 5 yards out to trim the deficit to 2 on the ensuing drive. Petrizik and Madich added in their second scores of the first half, and the teams headed into halftime tied at 20. In the second half, it was the Jonathan Wolf show for Jefferson Morgan. Wolf tacked on 2 rushing touchdowns to start the half and tired out the Bentworth Bearcat defense. Jefferson Morgan scored 20 unanswered points. Bentworth tried to answer back in the fourth quarter with 2 more Kavanaugh scores, but ultimately could not come back. With the 40-34 win, Jefferson Morgan's record moves up to 2-2, while Bentworth Bearcats' record falls to 1-3. For Channel 14 Sports, I'm Riley Holsinger.
Other scores around the county included Carmichael's improving its record to 4-0 after beating West Green 26-7. Waynesburg Central remains winless as Fraser blew them out 40-14, and Mapletown dominated Monessen, winning 30-6. The slate for this Friday's Greene County games features Carmichael's facing Monessen, Jefferson Morgan in California, Avella taking on Mapletown, West Green competing against Bentworth, and in WCTV's Game of the Week, Waynesburg Central is playing McGuffey. All of those games start this Friday night at 7. There is no Pittsburgh Steelers recap from this past Sunday due to the game being postponed since over 10 Tennessee Titans players and personnel tested positive for COVID-19. Here's Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin's reaction to the game being postponed.
You know, I'm disappointed because we were preparing to play and we're not getting an opportunity to. But we understand the nature of this environment we're in 2020, and so we're just adjusting accordingly. But there's disappointment, no question. We've worked extremely hard at the beginning portion of this week in preparation for what we thought was an opportunity versus an undefeated team in their venue.
Bye week since the game was postponed late last week. The Steelers are 3-0 and host the Philadelphia Eagles in the Battle of the Keystone State this Sunday afternoon at 1. Fans will be allowed to attend the game at Heinz Field for the first time this season. Art Rooney announced this afternoon that they will allow 5,500 fans in the lower bowl. Sticking inside Heinz Field, Pittsburgh Panthers lost their first game of the season to the NC State Wolfpack 30-29. The Panthers were up in the final minute of the game after a Kenny Pickett quarterback sneak touchdown, but NC State drove down the field on the next drive when Devin Leary found Emeka Amizi for the go-ahead score. Pitt's record falls to 3-1, and they will play Boston College this Saturday afternoon at 4. The Pittsburgh Penguins re-signed goaltender Tristan Jarry to a 3-year contract that runs through the 2022 to 2023 season. The deal pays Jarry an average annual value of $3.5 million a year. En route to being an all-star last year, Jarry set career highs for games started, wins, save percentage, goals against average, and shutouts. Jarry also holds the longest shutout record in Penguins franchise history by not being scored on in over 177 straight minutes. The deal for Jarry hints at the end of Matt Murray's era for the Penguins, since he is a restricted free agent, although Murray did receive a qualifying offer from the Penguins yesterday. That's all for sports. Stay tuned to Channel 14 News for your full weather report with Caleb Yauger.
Have you ever been to the Everly Library? If not, you should, because it's great. They have books of all different genres: history, biography, fiction. Try The Evolution of Life, Life of Pi, or Jurassic Park. So what if books aren't your thing? Try movies like Frozen, or TV shows like Lost. Books and DVDs aren't the only thing though. Take a trip to the 2nd floor. Welcome to the Writing Center. These tutors will tell you everything you need to know about writing a paper, and they'll help revise your essays. Now let's head back down. Behold, the Knox Learning Center. Need to print something out 5 minutes before your next class because you procrastinated? No problem. You can also print off pictures of dogs. Because, well, you can. So grab your homework, laptop, and textbook, and study diligently. Bring your lunch too. Actually, you can't. That's illegal. Now you know the Everly Library. Stop by anytime. Seriously, it's open all week.
Hello, I'm Caleb Yauger with Channel 14 News. I hope you're having a wonderful day today, especially with the beautiful fall weather that we are having. And I can tell you now, looking ahead to the weather this week for Waynesburg, it's going to be just as beautiful with very little signs of rain. Clear blue skies today. The current temperature is 70 degrees, and as we head into tonight, we can expect the temperature to drop to about 54 degrees. Tomorrow, the weather looks nearly perfect, sunny, and 75, which is the high temperature that we can expect. The low temperature will be on the chilly side at 46 degrees. The high temperature for Thursday is dropping down to 68 degrees, but it's going to be sunny with clear skies. 43 degrees, is the low temperature. And as we head into the weekend, Friday is mostly sunny. The high and low temperatures are 74 and 57 degrees. The clouds are going to be rolling in on Saturday, making it mostly cloudy skies with a chance of a few showers here and there. The high temperature will be 73 degrees and the low temperature will be about 56 degrees. There's a 40% chance of showers on Sunday, but not too bad. The high temperature will be 74 and the low temperature will be 55. And as we head into Monday of next week, the rain chance will increase to about 50%. 72 degrees is the high and 58 degrees is the low. I'm Caleb Yauger, and this has been your Channel 14 Weather Update.
Thank you, Caleb Yauger, for the weather update. You know what this cooler weather means? Fall is here.
Oh, I'm excited for the colder weather, although I think the whole pumpkin spice bit is way overrated, but I'm definitely looking forward to Halloween and Thanksgiving.
I'll have to agree, but that's all we have for Channel 14 News. Make sure to tune in every Tuesday at 5.
This has been a production of Waynesburg Community Television.